Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Batholkus, and this is iZombie, Season 5, Episode 12, By Zombies. The penultimate episode. It's almost the end of the season, or the end of the series, I should say. And again, they're rushing. They had to rush again because, like I said in the previous episodes of this, they didn't pad out the story among the other episodes instead of doing those murders of the week. They should have just gotten rid of the murders of the week and focused on the story. That way they wouldn't rush it to the last two episodes. But still a good episode. Let me take care of a little business beforehand. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. Also, you can hit the like button as well. If you don't like what you see, you can hit the dislike button. I just asked you to go down below in the comment section. Tell me what it is you don't like. Give me a little constructive criticism, some feedback, if you will. If you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell. If you've already hit the bell down below here, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. It still only gives you notifications about 50% of the time. You can go into the bell settings and get as little or as many notifications as you want. And if you really want to see when I'm on, you can go to my website, suspendedfanimation.com. I have my schedule up there for all, the whole week. You missed it, Joe Greer. Well, you got to go and watch it. You don't need to hang around here because I'm going to spoil the crap out of it. You can also go to my Facebook page and you'll see the same schedule up there as well. I also have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I also have a Patreon page, but I don't have the tiers up yet on the Patreon page. I will get to it at some point. So next week, the final episode, I will be giving away this guy. So all you need to do is you're going to have a week after next week's episode. Next week, when I do the review for next week's episode, leave a comment in that one, and you will get the superhero bag, the superhero girls bag, I should say, from Comic-Con of this year. This is the 50th anniversary of Comic-Con 2019. That's the bag that people will be winning. Basically, I'm just going to draw a name. All you need to do is leave a comment. I'll take your name. It's only going to be one name per person, so you don't leave like 20 comments. You can leave 20 comments. That's fine. But all I'm going to do is, pick your name once, throw it in a hat. If I choose it, then you win. You just need to give me your address so I can actually send that to you. And I will announce that in about, a week after next week's episode. So next week is when I'm going to be doing that. Yeah. All right. So let's get started here. Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the shit out of it. If you haven't seen the episode, go and watch it. This will be a video. You can come on back and you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the paddle. So, Liv is, in the Renegade HQ, and she is in some deep despair because of all the shit that's going on. Basically, they're under nuclear crisis. They're running out of brains. They've got the Freilich kids, hiding out. They can't even go outside because, they'll be eaten, kind of thing. And also they have Blaine hunting them as well. Shit's looking kind of desperate at this point in time. And in the meantime, Dolly Durkins gets her shipment of weapons from the general so she can create havoc with the Dead Enders. So Ravi tells Liv that Charlie's boss, Saxon, gave the tainted utopium to a pharma company. And basically what the pharma company is going to do is they're going to make doses that only treat the zombie symptom, but not cure it. Because that is what we live in right now. Yeah, it's going to be prolonged treatment, no cure. And he's pretty pissed off. Charlie has been shut out of the whole project. And Saxon has actually moved all the tainted utopium that he got from Charlie to a secure location in the CDC, and only he has access to it, and has shut Charlie out completely. It's this place called Zone 19, and his retinal scan is the only thing that will open it up. So honestly, I just would have taken his eye and gone in there and done it myself. But hey, they want to do it a different way. Charlie knows about a janitor who has access. And she's been flirting with him, trying to get more information about the Zone 19. But of course, he's married. but he won't give her the information. She just doesn't know how to flirt all that well, is what they say. So they give her a spy pen to put on the janitor, and they watch as he's going in, and he starts flirting with um, another woman, let's just say, that works at the CDC. They go into the janitor's closet and start making the sign of the beast with two backs, as they're watching with the spy cam pen. They use that video, of course, to blackmail him because, of course, they're going to tell his wife that he's been cheating on her, and they get the whole detailed information about what's going on there. So, of course, they bring this information to Clive, Major, and Peyton and say, okay, what we really need is we need to do a heist. And we need criminals, basically people that can break in, hackers, all this kind of stuff. And Liv comes up with the idea. She goes, no, we don't need all those people. We're zombies. All we need are the brains. That's all we need, just the brains. So Ravi and Liv go over to Donnie's bar, and they find the brains of a ninja acrobat. And so they're buying that. Blaine comes out and asks how Peyton's doing, basically trying to get a rise out of Ravi and all this kind of stuff. And Ravi answers right back and says she's doing just fine. We're in love, all this kind of stuff. And he goes, well, you're going to end up with this guy right here. And he says to Donnie, when Donnie comes back with her brains. And, basically he burns Blaine pretty well. And Blaine is kind of pissed about it, quite honestly. So Ravi pays for the brain and leaves. In the meantime, Liv gets a brain from a Russian hacker, and Clive tells her about a couple of people that he arrested. He gives her rap sheets of these guys that are dead, these felons that some had done breaking and entering, some had done some car thieves, they're car thieves, all this kind of stuff. And one was a pickpocket / he was a con man, all kinds of stuff. And he read somewhere that their brains can be preserved for up to 10 years if they've been embalmed. And all they need to do is just dig them up and eat the brains. Sounds kind of disgusting, but hey, why not? So Clive, Liv says, well, this might be the last time that we get to work together, me as a zombie. And Clive kind of gets choked up a bit. He gives Liv a hug, and he takes off, and Liv says to Ravi, I don't think he thinks we're coming back. And actually, that's what Ravi says is, I don't think he thinks we're coming back. And she goes, no, we're coming back. We'll be okay, kind of thing. And she tries to convince herself of that as well. Blaine, in the meantime, finds out that it was Ravi that stole the Freilich kids because he gets some video camera footage from across the way. And he orders the guy to find out where the Freilich kids are and kill Ravi. He's pissed at this point. Yeah. So Ravi, Liv, and Major are digging up the felons in the graveyard as it's raining. And Major and Liv are in the grave digging as Ravi is looking out. And they are talking about how far they've come. Basically, they were fiancés. They broke up. He turned her into a zombie. He tried to kidnap her to keep her from doing some stuff. All this kind of stuff. Basically, they did a seasons 1 through 4 recap in a nutshell, and how they've come along to this point, and where they can dig up bodies together. And he says, you can do this. You've done a lot of different things. You've got this. And she ends up hugging him and kissing him, and realizing that he's the guy for her at this point. So Clive, in the meantime, is at dinner with Dale, and all he's thinking about is maybe he missed some kind of felon that they could use. And Dale's like, you know what? She goes, this kid's coming out in a couple of weeks. You're their Clooney. You need to go on one last heist with them, basically to protect them at this point. She goes, and also to save the world and make it good for our kid to come into. Because right now the world is a little bit shitty with all the zombie stuff. If you can get a cure and make it fine, make it safe for our child to come into it, that's what you need to do. Save the world. So Peyton is going to look after the Freilich kids. She's over at the Renegade HQ. And who comes in through the closet but Clive? And Clive is like, I really didn't think Major was, I thought Major was kidding about this, comes out of a closet. Goes, but it really does. And so he tells them that, one last heist, they're going to do this. They're going to work together, and he's going to lead them at this point because they need a cop on this whole thing. Blaine, in the meantime, and Donnie are following Peyton because they can't find Ravi, and Ravi hasn't shown up to work, all this kind of stuff. And she goes into a warehouse and disappears. He looks in through the window and he goes, the door leads straight into the bay. She should be right here. What the hell? And the door is locked, so they can't get in. So in the meantime, the Dead Enders have mowed down a group of zombies that were at a memorial and have taken out some of the Fillmore Graves soldiers as well, killing them all. And this leads to zombies taking to the streets and rioting and taking out the Dead Ender bar. And of course, it's open war now on the street. And Major gets this news and is like, shit, we knew, we got to stop this now. Excuse me. Liv and Clive enter the party where Gladys, a woman for the CDC, they're going to get her key card. They need her key card and her phone in order to make this heist work. So Liv is on pickpocket brain, and she is just robbing everyone blind as she's going through this whole thing. As a matter of fact, she even robs Clive of his watch and shows it to him, and he grabs it back from her. And she's like, you know what? I've got too much stuff in my bra. Can you hold this for me? She actually pulls out this diamond bracelet. And he goes, he goes, why? We're in the South. You do not reach into a black man's pocket. And she goes, that wasn't your pocket. So I think she might have put something in his prison pocket, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So she ends up stealing Gladys's key card and phone, goes outside, and she tells Clive to keep Gladys busy. And goes outside where Ravi, who's on Russian hacker brain, gets both the card and the phone. And he clones the phone first, gives it back to her, and then takes the card and goes to the CDC to pose as a repairman, like a plumber, that kind of thing. And Clive is talking to Gladys about her cats, who she's named after some basketball players. And she's just basically a hot mess is really what she is. And Clive, of course, is talking to her, keeping her engaged and all this stuff. And she wants to just take him home right then and there. And he's like, you know what? I got something better. He goes, why don't, he takes her out to the dance floor. In the meantime, Ravi is in the, CDC as a plumber, posing as a plumber. And he's got a Russian accent too, because of course, when you eat the Russian hacker brain, you go on you get the Russian accent as well. And who does he bump into but a woman that he dated once? And I think I remember her from season 1. This is a really bad, I think it's a callback to maybe the first episode. They brought this woman back, if I remember correctly. And she confronts him in the hallway, and she goes, Ravi, and he's like, no, I think you're mistaken. And she goes, no, it's you. I remember you. We dated once. You never called. And so he turns around and has to explain that he was immature at the time. And then he says about what her faults were at that time and how she is now. And basically kind of breaks it down for her. And he finally gets rid of her. She's like, okay, I accept it. All right, see you later. Have a good life. And goes into Gladys's office and authorizes Charlie's retinal scan, because Charlie's retinal scan was not authorized at the time. It was taken but never used to get into that vault. Excuse me. In the meantime, Clive is tearing up the dance floor and loses track of Gladys. Gladys is leaving and says that he's a tease. That's all he was. He was just a tease. And Liv ends up getting back her key card to her, pops it into her purse, and I love it. She goes, I saw you with my man. And she goes, yeah, and I'll be thinking about it later. Which was wrong on so many levels. There's a lot of good, really funny, like old school iZombie humor in this one. That's what I liked about it. You could see that the A team of writers actually came back on board for this one. It was funny. moved along well, it was paced well, and it even had some drama to it as well. And not drama in a CW way of talking about your feelings in hallways, but some drama, which we'll get to here in a moment. So Blaine grabs a coyote going into the warehouse at gunpoint. It's a younger coyote, and he gets all the way through, and he finds Peyton sitting there with the Freilich kids, and ends up, he basically says they're his property. Peyton's saying, you know what, killing me is not going to, change anything. And he's like, you're right. And he shoots the coyote, he kills the kid that he brought in, and right in front of Peyton. And Donnie comes in and he's like, holy shit. He goes, there is a tunnel that comes out of a closet. Why don't we have one of these? Then he looks around, he goes, I don't think we're going to fit everybody in the van. And Blaine's like, oh yeah, we will. And he tells Peyton, even if you have to sit on my lap, is what he tells her. Very creepily, as he is wont to do. In the meantime, Major's riding in the van with the troops going out to where the Dead Enders, where everybody's rioting and all this stuff, when the van explodes. And his ears are ringing. It's killed some of the people, some of the Fillmore Graves soldiers. He crawls out with the few that are remaining, and they're under fire from the Dead Enders. And they're trying to find cover, shooting back at the Dead Enders, when who arrives but Enzo with his troops. And they pick up the last two Dead Enders that are holding them down and capture them alive. And then Enzo gives them the option. He says, well, it's an all-out war. He goes, you're either with me or you're against me, kind of thing. There is no other option. He goes, you either die here or you join me. And all the soldiers that were with Major move over to Enzo's side, leaving Major by himself. He makes a run for it, dives into the he's right there on the dock, and he actually dives into the water as everyone shoots at him. Yeah. So kind of screwed for Major at this point. So Clive, Liv, and Ravi activate part 2 of the heist. They go into the vault physically, and Ravi and Liv are now on Ninja Acrobat Brain, which seems a lot of hype for them. Like, you got this. All right, man. You hyped? Yeah. Okay, we're hyped. Yeah. It was really kind of funny to see them kind of trying to psych each other up to do whatever they were going to do. You never see what they do with the Ninja Acrobat stuff because, of course, the actors are not ninja acrobats. All you see is that they get in and Charlie is she's there with them, and she uses her retinal scan, her newly authorized retinal scan, to get them into the vault. So the last bit, they can't get into the safe itself where the cure is, and Ravi pulls out a drill and says, I know a way of doing this. And we see the next scene that we have actually is Dale watching TV when suddenly Enzo comes on and says, you know what, we had some people shoot my people, kill some zombies. And he goes, the old way used to be where we would turn them over to the human authorities. Not anymore. Now it's a climate of fear. You wanted fear, we're going to give you fear. And he's has the two humans that are left, the two Dead Enders, and he brings out one of the Romero zombies that are under their control, and he tells the Romero zombie to scratch one of the humans, which it does, and it instantly turns him into a Romero zombie, a feral Romero zombie, who just basically goes to town on the brain of the live human. And they broadcast this on TV, and he goes, I now have my nuclear option, and I have this zombie army. Come at me, kind of thing, is what he tells them. Tells all the humans in Seattle. He goes, we're no longer going to stand for this shit. Yeah. And Dolly sees this as well and says, we just declared war. So it's an all-out war. And she tells her guys to go out, find every living person, and arm them, because it's an all-out war at this point. In the meantime, Saxon gets a call that someone has broken into the vault and stolen the utopium, the tainted utopium, or the cure, I should say. And he comes in with the security guards, goes inside the where the safe is, uses the retinal scan, opens up the safe, and he goes, wait a minute, it's right here. And he turns around, and Clive and Ravi have knocked out the guards, have injected them. Liv is there with a gun to Saxon's head, and she gets the cure. And Saxon's like, what are you doing? He goes, we could make a lot of money, and I'll cut you in on it, all this kind of stuff. And Ravi zombies out and starts throwing Saxon around the lab, and then picks him up. And Liv talks him down and goes, Ravi, don't. We've got the cure. We can get out of here now. Let's do what we need to do. And he lets Saxon go. He drops, and of course, he's unconscious at this point. Liv gives Major a call and says, hey, we've got the cure. Get the Max Rager ready, and we can cure everybody in Seattle at this point. And Major's like, okay, yeah, sure, I can do that. And he's literally sitting on the same dock of where he just jumped off of. He's sitting in an abandoned chair, like an old tattered chair, holding onto one of the wounds in his chest and saying, yeah, all I need to do is go get the Max Rager in storage. Yeah, I can do that. All right, I'll meet you there. And he hangs up, and they have to leave, of course, because the cops are coming to the CDC. And that's where we leave off on the episode. So yeah, basically it's all out war between zombies and humans in Seattle. They've got the cure now at this point. Blaine's got the Freilich kids and Peyton. So it's pretty shitty is what's going on at this point. And and also Seattle is under nuclear annihilation threat from the government as well, which more than likely is closer rather than farther away because of Enzo's proclamation of his nuclear option that he's got. And Enzo's got his Romero army as well at this point. Yeah, it was an Order 66 on Major. Exactly, Joker. I don't even know if it was an Order 66. It was a, you know what? If you're not with us, you're against us, and you're dead kind of thing. So, yeah, they didn't want to die. Actually, one of the soldiers says that it's the only way, is what he said to Major, and he leaves. Yeah. Unique way of finding the right brains to eat. Yeah, it was Joker. I thought it was fun. It was a fun episode, and like I said, it had some drama to it as well. The writers that have done the really good episodes for previous seasons are back for these last two episodes. Thankfully, that's what needed to happen at this point in time. Hey, Joe, you're back. So, yeah. Next week we have the final episode, and I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how they're going to end this out, and I'm fairly sure. I don't know if Liv's going to make it, to tell you the truth. I think someone's going to die. I really do. I think someone's going to die, or going to have to die in order to save everybody. Yeah. Or Major. I don't know if Major's going to die. I don't think Major's going to die. I don't think Peyton's going to die either, or Ravi. Blaine might die. He has to die, actually, because he's just a shitbag at this point and needs to go. Donnie's going to survive because Donnie's like a little cockroach. That guy will survive anything. Yeah. Yeah. Blaine is just, well, he's always been bad, but he's always played that kind of snarky bad where you're okay with it. But now he's like full on evil at this point. So yeah, we'll find out what happens next week. Yeah, full heel mode. Yes. He's gone full evil. He was only part evil, but now he's full evil. So with that said, if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Also, you can hit the bell if you want to see when I'm going to be on live again. Next, you can also go to my website, suspendedfanimation.com, and take a look at the schedule up there. It changes every week. You can also go to my Facebook page. The schedule is up there as well. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I also have a Patreon, but I don't have any tiers set up at the moment. Yes, tomorrow is going to be Swamp Thing. Saturday is going to be Saturday Morning Blast Off in the morning, and The Boys in the afternoon. Sunday I'm off. Monday, of course, is the ever excellent Legion. Wednesday is Krypton, or Craptown as Lobo calls it. And Thursday, of course, is iZombie all over again, our final episode of iZombie. There we go. I may move the boys over to Thursdays. I don't know at this point in time. I will think about it. Yeah. So, good stuff. And again, next week is going to be the one you want to watch, because that is where you comment down below in the comment section and you win the bag. Whoever is the lucky winner. If you're still on the fence about joining up, you're going to see a video pop up here. It's actually going to take the algorithms of all the stuff that you watch, YouTube is, and they're going to pluck a video from my video library and pop it into that spot just for you to watch. Up here is going to be last night's episode of Krypton. It's Odds and Monsters, which was a lot of fun as well. Yeah. With that said, Joe, thank you for joining me in the chat. I know you're the only person that joined me in the chat today, so that's fine. It's a late one for anybody on the East Coast. I wasn't expecting much in the way of people being here. And also thank you if you made it this far in the video as well. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all the subscribers out there as well. And take a look at some of the Comic-Con stuff. I will be putting up the panel to the boys from Comic-Con as well. And I'm still piecing it together. Like I said, my GoPro had a little bit of problem, so I only got pieces at the beginning, and then I got the rest of it. So that will be up as well. And with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go for the evening. Thank you, and I will see you tomorrow for Swamp Thing. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may wind up coming out of a closet into the Renegade HQ headquarters and finding out where all the Freilich children have been hiding. Thanks, everybody. Good night.